Deadpool wasn't supposed to become one of Marvel's biggest stars. He wasn't an Avenger, and he wasn't one of the original X-Men. And when he first appeared in comics back in 1991, nobody could have predicted that this masked mercenary would one day headline blockbuster movies, sell millions of comics, and become one of Marvel's most recognizable characters. So today, while we finally finished Deadpool's Lord progression and Marvel Rivals, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at how Wade Wilson transformed from a relatively obscure comic book mercenary into the merc with a mouth that millions of fans know today. Because believe it or not, the Deadpool we know today is almost an entirely different character than the one Marvel originally introduced. Deadpool first appeared in New Mutants number 98 in 1991. At first glance, he already looked memorable. The red and black suit, the sword strapped to his back, and his full face mask that made him stand out immediately. But personality wise, he was much more serious than you'd expect. Yes, he cracked the occasional joke, but he wasn't constantly making pop culture references or talking directly to the audience. Back then, he was simply another dangerous mercenary who happened to have a sarcastic streak. Interestingly, one of the very first things readers noticed wasn't actually his personality. It was how similar he looked to another comic book character. Fans immediately compared him to DC's Deathstroke. Even their names are suspiciously close. You have Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson. Whether it was started as inspiration, parody, or a little bit of both, Deadpool eventually became something completely different. As different writers took over the character throughout the 90s, they started experimenting. Instead of making Deadpool another gritty assassin, they leaned into the one thing that made him stand out: his personality. The sarcasm became bigger, the jokes became more frequent. Eventually, he started doing something almost no Marvel character had done before. He started breaking the fourth wall. Sometimes he'd talk directly to the reader. Sometimes he'd reference being inside a comic book, and other times he'd even make fun of Marvel itself. That self-awareness completely changed the character. It's also where the nickname the Merc with a Mouth really started to fit. Not just because he was a mercenary, but because he simply never stopped talking. Whether he was annoying his enemies, making jokes in the middle of a fight, or completely derailing a serious moment, Wade always had something to say. Another huge reason Deadpool became such a fan favorite is his healing factor. Like Wolverine, Wade can regenerate from injuries that would kill almost anyone else. But, unlike Wolverine, writers use that ability to create comedy just as often as action. He can lose limbs, get blown apart, walk away from explosions, and somehow still have another joke ready before the smoke clears. That gave writers almost unlimited freedom. They could push the action further, make comedy more ridiculous, and still remind readers that underneath all those jokes is actually a pretty tragic character. That's something I think gets overlooked a lot. People remember the memes, the chimichangas, the fourth wall breaks, but Wade's entire sense of humor is often used to hide how broken he really is. I think that's one of the reasons the character has stayed popular for so long. Eventually, Deadpool stopped being just a comic book favorite. He started appearing in animated series, video games, comic book crossover events, and then came the movies. Ryan Reynolds' portrayal introduced Deadpool to millions of people who'd never picked up a comic book. For an entire generation, that version became the Deadpool. Loud, chaotic, and completely self-aware. Somehow capable of making you laugh and feel bad for him within the same scene. Which, today, brings us to Marvel Rivals. Deadpool was easily one of the community's most requested characters, and honestly, it's not hard to understand why. His personality practically writes itself. His animations feel chaotic, his voice lines sound exactly like something Wade would say, and his overall style fits Marvel Rivals surprisingly well. I'll admit, I genuinely thought I would have him at Lord during his first week. Instead, new heroes kept releasing, other grinds took priority, and this one slowly got pushed further and further down my list. So it honestly feels pretty satisfying to finally come back and finish what I started. Looking back, it's honestly incredible how much Deadpool has changed over the last 3 decades. Most comic book characters stay relatively consistent. Deadpool didn't. He evolved. Every writer added something new until eventually he became one of Marvel's biggest names. I actually think that's why he works so well. The developers clearly understood that people weren't just excited because Deadpool is a strong character, people wanted Deadpool because of his personality. The gameplay is fun, the animations are great, but what really sells the character is that he still feels like his Wade Wilson self. Whether you first met him through comics, movies, video games, or now Marvel Rivals, there's a reason he's become one of Marvel's most recognizable faces. I don't think that popularity is going to go anywhere anytime soon. And with that, Deadpool finally reaches Lord. Definitely a grind that took longer than I expected, but one that I'm really glad I came back to finish. Now, I want to hear from you guys. How were you first introduced to Deadpool? Was it the comics, the movies, Marvel Rivals, or something else entirely? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you'd like to see more Marvel Rivals character deep dives while I continue these Lord grinds, make sure to stick around. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.